If you've been riding for a while and feel like you're not getting better, you're probably just riding, not practicing. All right, guys, welcome to Bikes and Bourbon. I'm Braden with Clock.mtb.
I'm Ryan.
Tonight we are drinking the Knob Creek 21.
Not drinking the sawdust. That tastes really, really good.
If you don't like oak, then this may not be for you because this has been sitting in an oak barrel for 21 years.
For anybody that's a woodworker, that's taking some sawdust to the mouth. Kind of what it starts off with. But after about 1 second of that, if that, it doesn't go that way.
It smells delicious.
It's one of the best ever. To the adventure. And there she goes.
I am definitely an oak fan. That's why I like it so much.
What I like about this is that you do get that strong sense of oak. And I was joking about it, but it is there. And if you are an oak fan, you will love this. Those that are not an oak fan, I'm more of the rye side. What I'm going to tell you is that it lasts for not even a second. And then it just goes into these amazing flavors. Holy cow, and finishes off.
It's almost, it's got that Jim Beam peanut to it, but it's got almost like a bakery sweetness.
I would agree.
To it with the oak.
It's an amazing pour. It really is. It was very shocking to say the least. He's a big oak guy. I'm not so much. And I remember the first time we tasted this, I was like, holy cow, I just swallowed a bunch of sawdust. And then not even a second, it just opened up into massive amounts of different flavors. And the bakery, that's a great word for it.
It's a phenomenal pour.
It is.
But today we're going to talk about sessioning versus just riding, and why sessioning actually makes you better. And just riding makes you tired. Most people go out to ride, do a loop around the trail, hit a few features, call it a day. Nothing wrong with that, but I wouldn't necessarily call that progression.
No, if you're just out to enjoy life, maybe get a little bit of exercise, get outside, enjoy the fresh air, there's nothing wrong with riding. You and I both have done that to where we just go out and just take a ride. But if you want to get better, you unfortunately got to practice.
Absolutely. It's getting reps. What is just riding? Just riding is what to you?
Going out with your grandkids, just to go out and have some fun, go around the block, go hit a trail, girlfriend, wife, partner, husband, whichever you may be that's watching, just going out to have an enjoyable time with another person, maybe just to go out and get away from the world for 30 minutes to an hour, step away from the clock, right?
Yeah.
So that to me is riding. Just going out hitting a trail, not going back and I could have done that line better down that chunk or down that tech or man, the way I landed that was terrible, right? And just continuing on, going back and trying to make sure that you get it right. There's your difference.
Yeah, I mean you're either hitting the feature or not, but you're not stopping. You just keep moving on.
Yeah.
That's not practice, it's survival. Depending on what trail you're on.
Yeah.
But I mean, sessioning is different. To me, that's where you find one section, one feature, and you stay there for a while. You hit it again and again and again and again. And, let's say you're on a tech feature. You hit it, try a different line, you mess that up, figure out why, get that down, try a different line. Just keep working on that. To me, that's where progress actually happens, is finding those lines, practicing that same feature over and over until you get it down.
I don't disagree. One quick thing I'll say is kind of knowing what we were going to be talking about today. I was thinking, and you're a father, I'm a grandfather, and I just experienced this last week with one of my grandsons, and that is having them go a certain line. In a lot of ways, that's also sessioning for your mind. Not just for them, but picking that line, helping them pick that line to where they're able to hit that line, and the line choice that you helped them and or told them to run, were you correct? Maybe you had to make some adjustments. And so I think there's also some sessioning as far as your mind work when you're dealing with, if you're a parent, grandparent, or dealing with somebody that's experiencing new. You can also get a little bit of session work in there as well. And it may not actually you physically doing that work, but your mind's doing that work.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, to me, the hard truth is sessioning can be frustrating.
I'm gonna piss you right the hell off.
I mean, you're gonna fail more. You're gonna look less smooth. You don't feel fast sessioning all the time. And the big thing is your ego doesn't love it, because if you keep messing up and doing it over and over, your ego's like, why the hell can't I get this figured out?
Right.
For most people, it's just easier. Hey, if you do a feature, you don't hit it, just keep moving on. I'm not going to struggle with this anymore. I'm just going to keep moving down the trail. I'm going to say, I don't know how you feel, but early on getting back into it, I was that way. We'd come across the trail feature and I'd hit it once. And if I cleaned it, I'm like, hell yeah, that was awesome. Let's move on. My ego was fed. If I missed it, I'm like, yeah, screw that. I'm going to keep going. To me, it wasn't like I felt like I was improving a whole lot when I did that until I started sessioning.
I would agree, but there were also times though too. I remember we would try a tech uphill once or twice, and then we move on. Part of that though was because it wasn't so much as riding as we were building our endurance, building the legs, the lung capacity. There's also that too that plays a part, just a touch. And so I think in some ways you have to go out with a mindset of what you're going out to do that day or that particular moment. Because I'll say this, there's been times that we've gone out in the morning, then we'll go out in the afternoon, whether that's by ourselves, with our grandchildren together, it doesn't matter. My point is that it also depends on what you're going out to particularly do at that particular moment. But I don't disagree. Sessioning can be frustrating, can piss you off. It can do all those things, but it'll also make you better.
Yeah, I mean, for myself, my biggest struggle has been getting comfortable in the air and doing jumps. I wouldn't say I'm scared of them. I'm just scared of the air time and being comfortable with it. And so I'm going to use that as the example because lately I've spent a lot of time on a trail here locally that is a slalom course with some jumps, and they're 10, 12 foot tabletops. And first started that, I'd loop that track over and over and over and work on getting a little further. And it became fun for me, not only to see myself progress, but I can get to the point now, I ride that slalom course and I clear every jump on it. And, we were out in St. Louis here recently and we went down that black jump line. And those first two, which were about the same size, a little bigger, no problem clearing, we didn't spend a lot of time on that trail, but we got to those final two jumps, which were about 20 footers. And if I would have gone it down it a couple or three more times, I think I would have mustered enough up to go ahead and clear him, because I was on the brakes a little bit, but I was landing a little short just to get comfortable. But it was sessioning it to get me comfortable doing it. If I didn't stop and go through these trail features, I would never feel comfortable doing them and never get to that point. That's where I struggled so much last year.
I don't disagree. You talk about last weekend where, you were feeling more comfortable on that black. I wasn't. It was a lippy roll, to say the least.
Yeah.
And I felt more comfortable on the blue, had the step up at the end, and they've actually made that to where you can session that. It just happened that we were out of time for the day, had to get back for some other commitments. Plus, it was after the end of a 14-mile ride that we had done. So, legs are spent, this, that, and the other. The point of it is that system, the black that he was on, was sessionable very easily. The blue that I was on, the step up, easily sessionable. The other blue, the other two greens that were at the top of that, all easily sessionable.
Yeah.
That's what was so great about that entire area right there, is ultimately you can go there and work. And because that's what we're talking about when you talk about sessioning. Practice, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about. You're working. You're not out there to really have fun. You are, but you're out there to get better. That's the key difference between riding and sessioning. Is riding usually exercise and pure enjoyment. Sessioning, work.
Absolutely.
And you hope there's some enjoyment.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't mean every ride has to be serious.
No, I would agree with you.
We still want, and we want everybody to still want to go out and ride for fun, to flow, enjoy it. But if you actually want to get better, I think that you have to mix in some sessioning in some areas. Now, that doesn't mean if you're trying to chase a Strava segment, for a KOM, you can't stop in the middle of that to session it. But have some dedicated rides. There are times I go out and I'm like, today I'm going after looking to top my times. I'm nowhere near where I can be at the top of the leaderboards on Strava, but I'm keeping track of myself and where I can be. I'm going to rush through that stuff and try and blaze those trails. Other days, I'm like, today is a practice session.
Yeah.
And I'll ride it till I get to certain things and then hit those features a few times till I'm clearing the feature or I'm cleaning a big rock line.
Well, I'm also going to say you don't need a trail session.
No.
Again, go back to how many nights, how many weekends did you track stand in your garage? And 6 months ago to a year ago, did you think track standing would actually be worth crap for you?
Not when I started.
Exactly. The other thing I'm going to tell you, pump tracks. If you don't think a pump track's not going to help you out on that trail, you're mistaken. Learning how to pump, learning how, I was thinking about this earlier too, is, our local pump track. I know that it's not the greatest, but there's also times where I just run that first berm, making sure I hit that first berm the way I need to hit a berm. The rest of it's all fun.
Mm-hmm.
That first berm, usually, I'm trying to hit it as a session. Where it's like, I need to go in this way and come out this way, and then be able to continue that speed. So, there are I guess what I'm trying to say is there's other places than just the trails that you can session. You have your garage, a pump track, backyard, front yard.
Most of us don't live in Bentonville or a similar place or Whistler or somewhere where you can go and ride every type of trail all the time that you want.
Unfortunately, St. Joseph.
or St. Joe. Here in Columbia, Missouri, the middle of the state, there is some good tech in areas. There is some jumps. There are some drops. We don't have one trail that's just a flow jump trail. We don't have one massive tech trail or park of it. So we have to go out and we'll go to some of these, but it's if I say, hey, today I want to work on jumps and session those, there's a certain place I'm going to go where I know there are jumps to work on, or there are places that, hey, I know where there are some drops in this area and I can go session those. So you may have to go seek out some of that a little bit more, versus having a bike park around here or some real crazy trails. But if you search for them, that stuff's there. You just have to put the effort into it in your area to see where it is. Now, if you're lucky enough to live by a bike park or Bentonville or somewhere like that, I don't want to hear about it because you just have to walk out your back door and you're already there.
Walk across the street or open up your back door too. So
pretty much. But what I would say a trail truth is most riders avoid the exact thing they need to work on. I was that way at the beginning. I wondered, why am I not getting better? I figured it out. I practice. I work on that with Bryson. We've been working on jumps even in the front yard, building the ramp for him, working on his progression at 11 years old. And it makes a big difference for him.
Well, it goes back to the first time we went to Bentonville, right? And I now know when Jordan had to learn that's how to fly through the air and be comfortable flying through the air. It was the biggest one at the Skills Park there in Slaughter Pen and on the blue line as far as the drops. And it was just like, holy cow, I'm flying through the air. It's not so much that I have to learn to be able to control my body on the bike. Holy cow, I have to learn how to just fly.
Yeah.
I have to be comfortable floating through the air. And that goes back to, like I said, with the Jordan comment, it's that type of stuff until you actually go out and start doing things, and not just once, not just twice, but more so. And then as you get a little higher up, you're like, oh, there's other parts to this that I actually have to be comfortable with and learn how to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Again, because we'll talk about the black and the blue, Wildwood on the flow lines. You were more comfortable on the black because you're more comfortable flying through the air. I'm not. Again, that goes back to what you've practiced, what I've been able to practice, and so on and so forth. And so at the end of the day, if you really want to get better, you have to session.
Yeah. Yeah, it's no different than if you play baseball, going to practice, or golf, or any other sport.
No, I agree.
A lot of people biking don't think of it that way. They just think riding is going to take care of everything.
And for a certain portion of it, yeah, from the parking lot to the trail.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're stuck, you feel like you're not improving, stop doing full laps for a minute, pick one thing and work on it. Because progress doesn't come from riding more, it comes from riding better. Well, guys, if this helped even a little bit, I think that you owe us a like. Hit that like and subscribe button down at the bottom. And if you're still watching and you don't want to give us a like, well, that's on you. Now, if there's something that you've been avoiding on the trail, leave us a comment about it, and we'll try and talk about it the next time on Bikes and Bourbon. So, guys, thanks for joining us. Have a good evening. Mm-hmm.